Oh man. Okay. Where where to begin with this absolute rain wreck? First of all, if you're one of those people crashing out, you go crash out. Fans deserve a good crash out, especially when you have an absolute disaster like the Eagles had from top to bottom. Nobody is off the hook from this, and that includes Howie Roseman, by the way, because as much as I love him as a GM, as much as he has overseen the best era in Eagles football, he was the disaster this year as well. I mean, go back to the Washington game, the end of the season. We saw the fact that this team has no depth. The secondary, absolutely awful. The backup offensive line, which, hey, the starting offensive line wasn't very good this year either. Backup offensive line, not very good. Look at the trade deadline. We got Jalen Phillips, although his production when Jalen Carter wasn't playing was very different than when it was. But that was basically it. We got a couple of cornerbacks who couldn't get on the field. He let Nick Sirianni hire Kevin Patullo and then did nothing all season long, as we saw that it was an absolute disaster from day one and never got any better. And look, a lot of people say, oh, Eagles fans are spoiled and oh, they're complaining. I can't believe they want their coach fired and on and on. Man, listen up. Excellence can be short lived, especially at the top, especially in the NFL, where they demand that teams be different other than the Kansas City Chiefs. They would love for everyone to finish 9-8 or 8-9 in the NFL. That is what they are going for. They do not want sustained excellence. Super Bowl windows are very, very short, and you may never get it back. Ask the Dallas Cowboys, right? We like to make fun of them when they talk about Dak this and Dak that and get after Jalen Hurts and talk about the fact that they have more Super Bowl wins. 30 years, folks. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, I think after their last Super Bowl victory, the next year or the year after, they got to the NFC Championship game, I believe, and didn't go back. And they thought, oh, well, it's disappointing, but we'll get him next year. It's been a lot of next year's Dallas. You know what I'm saying? Super Bowl windows, I said this at the beginning of the season, they're very, very short. They come and go, and you may not get them back. Jeffrey Lurie, Howie Roseman, and Nick Sirianni may have just overseen the closing of the Philadelphia Eagles Super Bowl window. They may have just slammed it shut in the face of their dedicated, passionate fan base. Should Nick go? Yes. Yes, Nick should go. And I've thought long and hard about this. This is not an emotional overreaction. I've looked at everything Nick Sirianni has done. And yes, I get it. I do. We've got the Super Bowl appearances. We've got the Super Bowl victory. Nick was the coach. But what has Nick brought to the team? I mean, as a coach, if you're looking at him as a coach and judging what he's done as a coach, what does he bring? A lot of times we talk about the fact, oh, he's a player's coach, right? He's great in the locker room, great with motivation. Have we seen that this year? Did we not catch it? I might actually I might actually have it. Where is it? Is this it? No. A lot of simpleton stuff, but oh, come on, I thought I had it. Yeah, yeah, right. We've got this, and I with Nick, remember this? He's gonna sprint down, and I get it. He wants his. There's a lack of effort. So but this is my point. It's not just even that Nick is wrong here because AJ Brown himself is an absolute nightmare. Neither one of them should be back. I don't think AJ will be back. Nick probably will, unfortunately, but I'm judging Howie big time on whether Nick Sirianni comes back. I don't think that he should, but we have seen this year that stuff we give Nick credit for, he doesn't really seem to have a good grasp on it. It seemed like winning maybe was masking a lot of things. The success was masking a lot of things. And let's face it, Nick Sirianni hired Kevin Patullo. Kevin Patullo has been an absolute disaster. This is what really, really pisses me off. Set aside what actually happened this season, because, people will debate, and you've got the people like, oh, no, it's Jalen Hurts. Kevin Patullo is the fall guy and all this other nonsense. You were in two Super Bowls the last 3 years. You just won a Super Bowl. You're the defending Super Bowl champs. If you are taking winning seriously and getting back to another Super Bowl, Do you hire an offensive coordinator who has never called plays at any level ever? You do not. But Nick did, and Howie let Nick do it. And then you saw as the season went, Kevin never got comfortable in the job. Never got better at the job. Kevin never grew into the job. He didn't expand the offense. He didn't learn from what he was doing, learn from his mistakes, learn from the successes. Nick never made any adjustments to it. This is an organizational failure from top to bottom. The entire organization deserved this L. The fans didn't. That's the frustrating part. That's how it always seems to work, though, right? And this is what I mean about the Super Bowl window and my slam shut. This roster is going to change a lot. There are going to be cap issues that make this roster change a lot. You're going to get guys like, Dallas Goedert, who probably won't be back. The Eagles could have signed an extension with him last year. And you know what? I get why they didn't. AJ Brown. Now that gets tricky because you get into cap issues if you were to have to cut or trade, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But AJ Brown may not be back. Nakobe Dean may not be back. And one another thing that I put on Howie as well is not just Nick not making any changes, right? Not Nick. And here's the thing, Nick's not a good play caller either, right? That's the problem we get into. You hired an offensive minded head coach who can't call plays. So I don't know exactly what he was going to do in terms of he couldn't really wrest play calling from Kevin Patullo. I didn't think he wanted to. I think he'd rather influence Kevin because that way he doesn't get the heat. All right, I think that's part of the problem too. This is as much on Nick as it is on Kevin in terms of what the offense was. Nick is an incredibly to the point of it being a negative, right? There's a difference between being a conservative offensive minded guy and a conservative play caller and being so conservative that you're actually hurting the team, which is where Nick is. Right? This is an offense that despite all of this nonsense, somehow 2,000-yard receivers, 1,000-yard rusher, a tight end with 11 touchdowns, league team record, by the way. A QB with a career high, believe it or not, a career high in touchdown passes. And yet, overall, this offense was absolutely terrible. This incredibly talented offense. And again, this is what pisses me off about the coaches. And I know people love to blame Jalen Hurts. And was it his best year? Probably not. But again, a lot of that had to do with play calling. And if you look at his past seasons, to say that he can't throw the ball is ridiculous. And yet, Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown, Dallas Goedert, Saquon Barkley, Tank Bigsby, Jalen Hurts, and the offense ranked near the bottom of pretty much every offensive category that we have. Leading the league in 3-and-outs, which again, we saw in this game, right? In the second half, absolute disaster. This team desperately needs a creative play caller that gives them an advantage in terms of their schemes. Patullo is not that. He will not be that. Nick is not that. In 2023, we had a first-time play caller as well, Brian Johnson. That was a struggle. And a couple of years where we had some good ones, 2024, 2022. Again, people forget Jalen Hurts threw for over 3,700 yards and was second in voting in the MVP and had an incredible Super Bowl through the air in 2022 when there was no Saquon Barkley, by the way. People seem to forget that. Another thing, just again, to give you an example of adjustments and not having a feel for the game, Tom Brady, how many times did he talk about during the game about how the offense needs to play with more up tempo? They need to make a positive play and get back to the line of scrimmage quickly and snap the ball. And they didn't do it over and over again. I mean, he probably said that 10, 15, 20 times. This is an absolute disaster from Kevin Patullo. This is the disaster from Nick Sirianni. But I'm actually, and I know this is where we get into a little bit of crash out on my end too. I'm like so pissed that this isn't done now. Nick and Kevin should be gone now. Let's get started on the next season. And let me ask you this about Nick Sirianni. Seriously, let me know in the comments below. Uh, John Harbaugh, as we all know, was let go from Baltimore. And I think every team looking for a head coach has already contacted him about interviews. Yeah. So let me ask you this. Let's say, boom, Today we get the announcement, Howie Roseman fires Nick Sirianni. How many teams out there that need a head coach do you think are excited? And they're like, yeah, hey, we got to line up an interview with Nick Sirianni. How many? I mean, some might do it because they'll keep him in the back pocket in case they don't get the coach that they want. But I don't think Nick Sirianni would be anyone's first choice. Now, of course, for the game, and again, a lot of people want to blame Jalen Hurts. They don't want to talk about things like where is it? Where is it? Oh well, this is a good example too. Dan Orlovsky on the I will say, look, Dan Orlovsky drives me crazy, and there's some things about him that just really piss me off. But in the Jalen Hurts stuff, I put him in that category. He's one of the better guys in the media in terms of trying to be objective. I don't agree with all of his takes, but nor should and y'all shouldn't all agree with all of mine either. That's not the point. You just want someone who's going to be honest and give you based on facts their informed opinion on something and we can debate about it. That's one of the great things. It's when you get these idiots that spout off nonsense like your LaShawn McCoys and your Nick Wrights and people like that it just gets your Howard Eskins, your Danny, what the hell's Dan? He's such a loser. I can't even think of his last name right now, but you know who I'm talking about. Uh, but let's check this out. Philly ran 10 plays in its final offensive series. They ran the same play, copied a previous play from that drive on four different occasions. This is because all they do is they run the same basic run every time that they tip off and let the other team know, and then they run hitch patterns. And every once in a while, they run a go. That's what the Eagles do, right? Someone put this their playbook at the moment. I think this is oh man, what is this from? Y'all, you old people got to let me know. This goes way back. Is this Intelco? Is that what I'm seeing this from? Is this Intelco or from what is it, Intellivision or whatever, or maybe or this isn't one of the handheld ones, is it? No, I think this is like Intelco or something like that. Right. And that's kind of what it's been for the Eagles. We had this was the final play. This was the fourth down. And a lot of people are screaming Jalen throws it into triple coverage. But look at what's being run, guys. I mean, it's not like anybody's open. Let's take Devontae Smith and AJ Brown and just put them completely out of the play. And a lot of people are saying, "Oh, let me see if I can get the Dotson's open right there." Okay, well, Jalen's already let go of the football. And if you all think that Dotson is not coming straight across the field, it's an angle. If you think that safety is not closing on that, I don't know what to tell you. Okay. So yeah, he threw it into triple coverage, but I mean, at least there was an opportunity, which was all we could really hope for in that because there was nothing else. I mean, this is absolutely disaster. AJ Brown will probably be back, but I don't know how he can be. Just to give you an idea, if he's cut or traded post June 1st, that's the key. His dead cap hit, it's going to be huge. 45 million if he's cut, 16 million if he's traded. That's according to over the cap. So, but I don't know, it's going to be tough to have him back. It's going to be tough to have him back. The other thing I want to finish with one other thing in terms of Nick Sirianni, and let me know what y'all think in the comments. Mike Tomlin, right? Y'all know Mike Tomlin, the Pittsburgh Steelers. People like to talk about what was this like 19 straight years with a not a losing record. I don't think it's a winning. I don't think it's winning because I think, let me see. I think there were some 8 and 8s in there. Yeah, there were some 8 and 8s in there. So it was, 19 straight years without losing record. But if you look at this, one, two, three, 4 seasons, not once since 2016, have the Pittsburgh Steelers won a playoff game. I don't know about you, but that's not what I want. As an Eagles fan, that's not what I want. I don't want a coach who's going to be here forever, who does just enough to make us think, hey, well, if we can just get to the playoffs, anything can happen. But there's a lot more to say. There's a lot of other stuff I have. So yes, I will be getting some more videos. I know I probably had some people that ran screaming and don't even want to pay attention, but hopefully you'll continue to check this stuff out. If you're enjoying the content, please like, comment, subscribe. Of course, now I might have a little more time to actually get to Phillies and Flyers instead of a video every once in a while, Sixers as well. And yeah, man, I'll let me know your thoughts.